welcome to Art Friends. Did you hear that beautiful opening right 5 seconds ago? Well, that's a new opening that will be happening from this episode on. My name is Opalia, and I'm followed by Coda
That's me.
and Coen.
Present.
Yes, good job. So, and
I
today
feel like Coen raised his hand before and then realized we couldn't see him and then was like, dang it, present. Then that was what that pause was.
No, I raised all of my limbs, Coda.
You just did a reverse crawl.
yes,
Yeah.
that's how it goes.
Like,
But
you didn't
guys-
hear it because I'm very efficient about it, but I put both of my arms and legs up.
Yes. But guys, what are we talking
Yeah.
today about?
Oh, we don't need to rush into it, Apollo. First off,
No, I'm
I
genuinely
just
asking,
want
I forgot it.
again. So for context, I had to describe to Apolia what we would be talking about today 3 times before she bothered to
4.
listen to me. 4 times.
That's not bothering, it's just my brain zoning out because I didn't get distracted enough.
I explained it to her once. She was like, "Wait, what?" And then I was like, "Okay, I'll do this again." And I explained it again. She goes, "Sorry, I zoned out again." I was like, "Fine." I explained it a third time. She goes, "Coda, one more time, please." I was just like,
And then he explained it again, and I was just like, please just say it in text.
After that, she got it.
"Yes." I mean,
Right, Opalia?
then again, you were not watching Full Metal Alchemist while you were talking, so you were
While you were
not
listening to
distracted from the
music.
Focus. Yes.
Exactly.
You weren't
Just-
watching Full Metal Alchemist while listening to music, while drawing, while recording the episode, so it's totally understandable that you were a bit distracted.
Exactly.
You had a shocking lack of distractions, so you could not focus.
Exactly.
I Opalia has to listen to Country Roads and or Sweet Home Alabama on loop while watching Full Metal Alchemist if she's going to record an episode.
On the road again. Yes,
That wasn't
that's
either of the songs I said.
what- exactly.
Nope.
But my mom wrote it in her status, and I was like, yes, I need that now.
Wait, your mom has Discord?
Maybe. No, she
You have
doesn't.
a cool. Oh, you have. I was gonna say you have a cool mom.
You have
My
a cool
mom
mom.
would
Her name
never.
is, I don't know, Katrina?
No,
You're gonna keep guessing.
you're gonna keep guessing my mom's name, and you will not get it right. I guarantee you.
Eventually, Coda's mom will comment under one of the Art Friends episodes, and we'll finally be able to get it. because of
Actually, her only
username.
YouTube account, she's an author, and her only YouTube account is her pin name, so it's not even her real name.
God damn it! She'll just comment like, "My name is
Damn you, Evangeline!
Evangeline."
Evangeline!
I'm trying, okay.
Anyways,
That's just
Apolia,
that just,
since you
that
wanted
just,
to know, we can
that just-
hop into what we're talking about.
that just gave me the brilliant thought of an Avengers-style team of just Coda's mom called the Avengeliers.
I will watch the
Wait.
hell out of that.
An adventure-style team of just my mom.
Of you, just your mom, like your mom multiple times.
Oh, so
she
we
has
got
a
a clothing
helping robot.
situation going on here.
And she has like a helping robot like Iron Man, and his name is Coda.
No, they're all Coda's mother. So there's like a big green, strong Coda's mother. It's a Coda's mom that has.
Guys, this
Drugs.
is too cursed. I don't want
It's-
to imagine this.
Cohen. So if it's his mom and her name is Hulk, it's Mulk.
What?
Mulk?
Mulk?
Well, yes, Mom Hulk. Mulk.
It just sounds like someone saying milk really wrong.
I want a glass of milk.
Oi, Mike, can you give me the mole?
Ah, you
Like
know
some
when you
mul-
get home from work and you just want a nice cold glass of milk. Let's go ahead and get into the topic for today.
Which
Guys.
is Coda.
Guys, we like to draw, so you consider yourself artist, but do you consider yourself illustrators?
Wowee, that's a question. Not that I've ever professionally illustrated, because no one will commission me. commission me, by the way, but I do make illustrations.
Opalia, do you consider yourself an illustrator?
I would say that, yeah. The stuttering, though. But I would rather say that I'm more of a character designer than a illustrator, just because I'm too lazy to do illustrations all the time.
Fair. I mean, I'd agree with Opalia. I feel like my passion lies in character design more than illustration. But I feel like some people are confused. They're like, well, these people draw, doesn't that mean they're illustrating? That's the topic for today. Illustration. So we're going to get into what's the difference between illustration and a lot of different types of art. We're going to get into how to do illustrations, at least from our experience, and how we do them. And, you know, some, like, just different tips and tricks to cheating at illustrations.
Because
Which we
I know some
established
of those.
isn't possible in the last episode.
Wait, so we're saying this is how you cheat. By the way, you can't cheat.
Yep.
Are you even listening to yourself?
No, I have headphones on.
When did we say you can't cheat?
In the last episode.
I didn't say that.
We said cheating was impossible.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Exactly, Coen. Maybe you should listen to Art Friends. Episode 17 is cheating, I think.
Bro, I'm
Anyway.
I'm so far behind on our own podcast.
Wait, you're listening
I
to
haven't listened to an episode since like episode 12. It's getting ridiculous.
My favorite is episode 16 still.
Haven't
It's a good
listened to
one.
it. Don't know what happens in it. Could you guys explain it to me?
Don't know, don't care. Alright, so...
But guys, if you want to hear something very beautiful, just listen to episode 16, listen to the end of episode 16, and you get something very beautiful.
Yes.
Oh wait, now I get it.
Anyways,
Yeah, I did hear that.
so, guys, when it comes to illustration, what do you think separates... Because you said that you're not completely illustrators. So, if you draw...
I didn't
yet
say
you're
that.
not illustrators, what...
You never asked me.
I did. And you said,
didn't.
Oh,
I did, and your answer was I don't get commissioned much, so I'm not an illustrator, which I don't see as true, but
I guess. I thought that was linked to the previous question, but anyhow.
so what do you think
yeah,
is the difference between just general art and illustration? Like, why is illustration not just general art?
Well, because you can't really generalize art in, like, a way that it's just this kind of drawing. You can only say it's someone using an art supply, piece of paper, canvas or something, and does something on there. That's the most I can get to generalize art, because there are so many different ways. There's animation, illustration, concept art, comic art, there is paper crafts, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, when it comes to visual art, I define it as things intended to look cool. As things... Well, no, because some things are
No.
kind of intentionally not looking cool. Yeah.
Do I need to like generalize it way off the freaking charts?
Yeah, just try to summarize art in one sentence.
Art is communication and expression. You're welcome.
Fair.
That confuses me
that's
more
very
than
right.
anything.
It's
I was-
so vague
yeah.
that it means nothing. You're welcome.
Art means
Well, I
something.
mean, it's kind of true though. Art's a
means
very
nothing and
general
everything.
thing. And
Yeah.
illustration to me is just one chunk of visual art.
Exactly, it's like a niche.
Yes. So what illustration? How I would define
I
it?
would.
Oh, go ahead.
How would you define it?
Well,
Okay.
I was gonna say for me, and this might change throughout the episode because I haven't thought about it too much. But an illustration is a finished concept executed in a polished manner. So, and that doesn't mean it has to be a neat style. That just means it's not like you show it to somebody and you're like, yeah, it's still pretty rough.
I getcha.
I
For
guess.
example, if you look at, children's storybooks, that's illustrations all over. When you see, like, a girl on the playground with a ball in her hand looking somewhere, that's an illustration.
Yeah.
Because you got an established background, you got an established main character, or main focus in that drawing, and you got an established, like, I would say a story be told, like, with the drawing. So I think illustrations are mostly storytelling still pictures.
Interesting. And Coen, how would you define it?
I would, again, this is probably very vague, and that's because you could technically, under some of these definitions, just call anything an illustration, really. But I think people generally perceive it to be like an idea visualized. So someone might have an idea for a book cover or something, and they need someone to visualize that, and that person will illustrate it.
That's interesting. So,
But the term is
I feel like
too
that falls
broad.
under concept art.
Yeah, exactly. But because the term
That's
is so
true.
broad that it's like visualizing
Yeah, but-
ideas could also just be concept art.
True. Which is where the second part of the definition comes in, which technically could exclude some aspects of illustration, but I'll just pretend those don't exist. Which is just, it isn't, like, it's not brainstorming, it's a fully realized idea, like Coda said. Like, it's final, it's a fully, like, it doesn't have to be finished, but it's a finished-ish thing. Like a full realization of the idea. Like, concept art would be like the first few steps, brainstorming and anything. And don't confuse concept art with concept illustration, because that's a whole other can of worms.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we can get into that.
maybe.
Maybe, if the time is there for it.
Yes.
But
continue,
basically,
Coen.
now that everyone listening roughly has an idea of illustration, you might notice it. You might notice that it's hecking everywhere. Literally everywhere. You don't need to look a meter in front of you and you see it. I'm looking around me and I see, like, I see a print on a t-shirt. I see stickers with illustrations on them. I see a notebook with an illustration on it. I see an art book with an illustration on it, although that's kind of obvious, I guess.
I'm looking at myself
Yeah.
doing an illustration.
Sick.
Exactly.
I love
So-
it up.
Yeah, I guess an illustration really is just a finished, a finished idea.
Fully realized.
Fully
idea.
realized.
Because I feel like finished. Such a hard word. 'Cause
That,
nothing's
and
ever finished.
even if you would say it's finished, it could also just a finished idea could also just be a full-on concept art. You know.
Yeah. So what if we're going by that
I mean,
definition? What
A
if
full-on
someone
concept art would be a concept illustration.
Yeah, what if someone illustrates a character, they do a concept art, and they finish the design, and then that finished concept art, whenever they say, this is what I like, this is what I'm ending on, is that an illustration then?
I mean, most of the time, in most pipelines, at that point, it's like a very... Like, they might polish it up a little. Like, they might fully paint it, and at that point, it's a concept illustration.
Yeah, I think that's how you could interpret it. So
Yeah,
it is both concept art and
continue.
illustration.
Go ahead.
I already finished Coda.
So I like what Opalia said about illustration has a story to it.
That's true, but not all of the time. Sometimes it's just... I don't know. I guess I guess you could count it under graphic design as well, but is graphic design just another form of illustration? But like company logos, they don't really tell a story, but they're still in some way an illustration, I guess.
That killed my
Yeah.
mind.
Or, and like stuff like there's also like medical and technical illustrations of like how you need to build a Lego set or how a car engine fits together, or how the human skeleton works, or whatever. Those are still illustrations, but they don't really tell a story. They still convey information, which could be considered an idea.
I would say a story is the telling of something that happened, not the communication of what to do, like instructions.
Or
So-
just information, like this poem goes here, or whatever.
Exactly.
But they still tell you something. Like, they tell you
Yeah.
this bone goes there, or they tell you...
So it's
Right.
communication.
Yeah, illustration could be called communication in a way.
I mean,
but
it's
so
art,
could
so
concept art.
it's always going to be communication. You can't have art that doesn't communicate anything. It's always going to communicate something.
I don't know, have you
This is-
seen the smiley face? It doesn't really communicate a lot.
I mean, it communicates a
communicates
whole bunch of things.
Depends
Yeah.
on if it's a PB face or not.
Like, it still communicates something. It's just that it communicates so many things that it's super confusing. But even that's a communication, you know? Like,
Sure.
looking at a black screen, it's still communication because it tells you, yes, black. That's a tone, I
And
know.
given context, looking at black screen tells you, yes, off.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense, but... How would you
We're
guys
saying, what we're saying is that if you turn your computer off and you stare at the black screen, you've successfully made an illustration. You're welcome.
You're now an
Well,
artist.
I don't know, because, let's see. So first, let's. I think the two biggest differences, the two things that compete against each other, would be: is it concept art or is it an illustration? And for
we
now,
gonna delve into that
we'll
topic?
say concept illustration falls under concept art. We'll just say that for now. And
I disagree with that.
We can open up that can of worms.
I would actually say
in a
that
moment,
it's its own, category.
Like it's an in between, you know.
Yeah.
All right, in that case, let's look at
Like,
the
should
two
I-
extremes: concept art and illustration.
Can I? All right.
Whatever isn't concept art then is inherently illustration. So,
Can I quickly, the way I understand, at least I'm not a professional, of course, and I've never worked in a games or movie or film studio, whatever.
go ahead.
But the way I understand the pipeline is just, let's say, for example, you're working on a movie and it's a movie based on a book, you know? So first you get this manuscript of, like, I don't know, it's a wizard who really likes bunnies or whatever. It's a wizard who really likes bunnies, but he hates birds. You know? Something like
I'd
that.
watch it.
I actually
Then
know a
that's-
character that could fit into that category.
Fantastic. Who is it?
Elo.
Elo's afraid of anything, so
Well, I don't think he's scared of bunnies, but that's not the matter.
he is scared of the nest track bunnies. Just wait until you see those. Anyhow.
Yes.
Anyhow, that manuscript or that idea, like if it's a video game, there might be like, yeah, I want an enemy that has like that like if you jump on them, it hurts. Owie, you know, could be any sort of idea that gets handed to a concept artist, and that concept artist is like a concept artist's job is not just to make something that looks pretty or cool. It's to solve problems. It's to come up with ideas.
Communicate an idea.
Yeah. So like if there's a problem which is we need an enemy, but it needs to read clearly that it's dangerous on top, the character or the creature character or concept artist, whatever, will start just doing really rough sketches of like some basic shapes or some rough ideas. Like, is it a lizard? Is it a turtle? Is it a crocodile? Is it a mammoth? And they might end up with a concept sketch that the publisher really likes, or the art director, more like it. The art director really likes, which could be like like a turtle with spikes on its head, basically. And then after that idea is realized, they'll delve into a whole bunch of different stages, like deciding the final colors and look. And once they're decided on the final colors and look, they'll do like a finished piece of it, of just the character or creature or whatever, just standing in a white space, or maybe it has a little background on it. Doesn't matter too much, but it'll be a fully realized and finished thing, and that would be a concept illustration.
Right.
And that's the stuff you see in art books. I'm very sad, actually, that when you buy the art of books, you rarely get to see the actual sketches that go into coming up with ideas, and you most of the time just only see the fully realized character paintings.
Yeah, exactly. Which is still cool, but I really
Yeah.
do want to see the process.
But
I
I do
follow
want-
a lot of concept artists on Twitter, so I get to see some behind the scenes stuff.
Hell yeah. Another thing I want to make a distinction is that concept illustrations don't always become the final. Like when they make the final concept illustration, the publisher might be like, yeah, we don't like the fact that it's a turtle. Because someone recently had like a turtle, someone's home just recently got destroyed by turtles. So we don't think that's good for the current political landscape to have a harmful turtle.
Of
Or whatever.
course.
So they might
God
change
damn
it
those
to a
harmful
weasel.
turtles.
And then they'll have to do the whole process over again. But some concept illustrations are like made halfway through the process just as a proof of concept. So for example, Coda wants to make a game where bears rule the world. So in the middle of like he might make a quick painting or sketch of a couple of bears, or like a finished painting of a couple of bears in a tank smashing the White House or whatever. And that will be a concept illustration, and the art director might look at that and be like, yeah, this is cool. I'll send it to the publishers. Or he might say like, Coda, are you in? And then Coda goes back to work.
Well, I think that's a very fun way of putting
You got very nervous after I said, Coda, are you in? Gotta say.
no, what? No. So let's move on. Just you know, just let's move on. So basically, I like the way you put that. That was a very fun little story. Here's what I will ask you.
Yeah.
That finished concept illustration where they draw the creature on the white background with a whatever background, why to you is that not just an illustration?
Because it's still a concept. Like an illustration would be taking that character and putting it into a scene and like telling a story or communicating that something else is happening. I don't know, but it's like the distinction is where it's just a fully realized version of the concept, but it's not. It's just a concept, you know.
Yeah, and I think the way I would define it is a
Like
concept illustration, its purpose is to be used in a future illustration.
Yeah.
So
Like
if
you
the
need-
illustration is standalone, then you're fine. If the illustration is like, here it is, this is done. But a concept illustration is like, I'm going to use this in a future thing.
Yeah, it's like a character sheet almost.
Well, a character
Yeah.
sheet is kind of concept art.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like the fully realized version of a concept art, I guess. So like the finished renders of the characters in that character sheet could be considered concept illustrations. But the sheet as a whole could be considered like concept art, if we want to get really technical.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Aristotle said that everything is either an end or a means to an end. And I think the same is with art. Everything you draw is either a finished illustration or is preparation for a finished illustration. And how I would distinguish concept art or concept illustration from illustration itself is an illustration is an end, while concept anything is a means to an end, or is preparing for the end, the
Yeah.
illustration.
But keep in mind, everyone. We might get into this topic into a later episode. But like, this is speaking in like business and marketing terms. Like when an illustration is finished, it's finished. They're not going to change anything to it, or they might do some slight adjustments. But it's finished. It's set in stone. But in art, nothing's ever finished. Like you can always change something, which
Right.
is cool. But that's different. That's speaking in art terms, and we're speaking more so in like business and marketing terms.
Yeah, Opalia, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
I think I'm on Coen's side with this.
Like,
Well,
I
what-
tend to.
Wait, on Coen's side about what? Like what exactly?
Like what he said was what I mean. Like, I cannot really add something.
Ah, okay.
Like, one more thing I'd like to mention is that I like to think of it as like a 3-layered onion. And like the lower you go, the harder it is to find.
Would
Like,
you
my
say,
God, I've tried.
Coen,
Like, yes,
would you say art is like onions?
yes.
They have layers.
Digital art is layers, everyone.
If
Computers are
art is
onions,
like
confirmed.
onions, then art is like ogres.
Yes.
So
Good job,
every time
Coda,
I
you actually got the
draw,
reference.
I must draw Shrek.
Yeah,
Everybody, please draw Shrek in the Art Friends art style, thanks.
I might do that in the thumbnail. But Coda, you should draw Shrek in your epic face style. Now.
Now.
Like now. But anyhow, I'm gonna go back to those 3 layers. But the first layer would be like marketing images and full illustrations. So like, for example, Coda, name a franchise or whatever.
McDonald's.
Media. McDonald's. McDonald's does work.
The
Should
Owl
I go with
House.
McDonald's? I'll go with McDonald's. Should I go with the owl? I'll just go with both, you know. So, for McDonald's, you might see like a full illustration of Ronald McDonald taking over the galaxy using Big Macs to bring peace to every world.
That
You
kind
know-
of
I
seems
drew
like a
that
thing they would
once.
do that.
You drew that once. And then
And he was also an e-boy.
He
Coen
was
made
an
me
e-boy.
draw it.
You're welcome. But like that would be the illustration, and then the concept illustration would be the final render of what Ronald McDonald looks like, and the final render of what the planets and the Happy Meals look like, or whatever. And then the concept art would be all the sketches of Ronald McDonald and the planets to figure out their look and the way they look. And you can apply this to anything. Like if we take the Owl House, the illustration might be like something you'd see in a TV promo, like a still image of the character standing in a circle, ready to fight or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Back to back, monsters in the corners. And then the concept illustration will be the characters as single characters or on a sheet or whatever, fully realized, fully done in the style of the show. And then the layer beneath that is the sketches that went into creating those characters and the multiple iterations of them.
Yeah. And I think there's 2 ways to define illustration. And right now we're defining it in a technical sense. We're like, here, by definition, this is what it should mean. But I think there's also a practical way of defining it, like a way that is just very practical. And it's kind of what Opalia said at the very start. It's just like a background with a person. It has a composition. It's just an overall image rather than just a character. So like a picture or a scene would be, and that's the practical way of defining illustration. I like that Opalia said that.
You're welcome. I'm great.
Also, I'm not done with this topic, Coda. You opened this can of worms. I'm gonna close it again. 2 more things I'd like to mention. I said there's one more thing I'd like to mention, but that I opened up another can of worms. You're welcome. Is that just because it's the most polished doesn't mean it's a final. So there might, for the Owl House or for Ronald McDonald, there might be like a super polished painting super polished painting halfway through the process, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
I think this is getting a bit off topic. I'm gonna.
I still consider that concept art because it's not the final version, but although it kind of treads the line between. But I didn't finish the thought I had earlier, where it's like the marketing images, they are the easiest to find. You just Google the name of the thing and you find it. Like Google Doom Eternal and you find all the fun illustrations. Look up Doom Eternal concept art and you'll see all the final concept illustrations of like the, I don't know,
Mancubus
looking awesome in all this glory with like a front back view or whatever, fully painted, fully realized. But then you get to the 3rd layer, which is trying to find the sketches and even the concept artists that worked on the damn thing. And that's near impossible to get. Almost no publisher or studio likes to post them. They're a mystery. You rarely see them unless it's like on the artist's private social
Huh.
media account or whatever.
If
Like-
I ever make a studio or make a game or a show, I
It's-
will consciously post concept sketches.
Cool. I'll see if you keep to that without any contract getting in the way.
You have to keep me to that.
Haha. I do. But Jay, honestly, I love the concept art in Doom Eternal, and I've only found like 4 of the concept artists who worked on it because they're so hard to find. I swear to God.
Seems like someone is talking out of experience.
He is. Oh.
But anyhow, I got super off topic. You're welcome.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was educational. It was a bit of a monologue, but
Just the wrong kind of education for this episode's topic.
Oh, but I enjoyed it. I think it had a lot of cool information in it.
Yeah, about concept art, but not about illustration.
Yes. Opalia, I think that's all I really had to say on the matter of concept art versus illustration. Like, what is an illustration? Opalia, did you have anything else you wanted to bring up before we moved on?
Let me do a thonk.
Hard thonk indeed.
Wait, let me play funny music.
Wait, Coen, make sure it's not copyrighted.
Never mind, I am not playing fitting music. I want to do the Mission Impossible theme. I'll do like the first 3 notes of it or whatever. There we go.
It just sounded like you hit the same note over and over again. Do.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that just it too? You get to cut this out now. You're welcome.
Okay, my thoughts on concept art also is like, I had that question while you guys were talking. Would you consider a sketch also as concept art, or is it something entirely different?
Yes, that's
I
concept
would
art.
totally consider it as concept
Right.
art.
You could technically call them concept sketches, but that's just adding another definition to it.
Yeah, we
for
don't
clarity.
need more more things.
It adds a clarification still because it's a sketch. But yeah, sketches are absolutely concept art. They might even be the most important part because without the sketches, you won't really get anywhere.
Imagine being able to draw without sketches. Haha.
But it does fall into the means to an end category, which I was saying is all concept anything. All concept artwork is a means to an end. So if that sketch falls to a means to an end instead of the underlying sketch for a finished illustration, then yeah, it's kind of, or I guess that they're right when I talk about an underlying sketch to an illustration, it pokes a couple holes in my definition, but it's fine.
We need to get Trent Kanyuga or some other professional concept artist on a future episode so we can interrogate him on these definitions because, my god, they're confusing.
I feel like
If
you're
I-
actually able to get them on here.
Just hit up Scott Flanders. Yeah, let's go.
If we ever manage to get someone actually famous on here, I'm just going, like, we already got Christian or Popcross, which I'm so
Someone.
thankful for.
Freaking, if we ever get someone famous on here, quickly realizes, but Christian,
I mean, I totally forgot about that.
We are not in
you
the same...
forgot about Christian.
Please remember, we
Wowee,
are not
guess we're
Coda.
gonna
We
have
actually remember him.
Guess
I'm
we're gonna
sorry.
have to
That was
cancel
mean.
Coda now.
I didn't mean to be mean.
Yeah, you're really mean. Shaking my SMH, Coda.
Yeah, Coda's mean. Everyone comment Coda is mean.
No.
Only Speed is allowed to comment Coda as a furry.
Out of all the episodes, I hope this is the one your mom will watch because, like, so many reasons.
Joke and this.
Yeah, and the
But-
fact that we had a whole, like, Avengers bit at the beginning.
Yes. Oh, but where I was going with that, and this was proof that when we had Christian on, if we ever get somebody popular on, or like somebody big or professional like Christian, we are going to just interrogate them and record for like 2 hours and be like, nope, we need more footage.
You
Yeah,
cannot
can you
leave
please
this Discord server
also-
anymore.
Can you say this line for me? Okay, so it's spelled like this: Coen, space YOU space ARE space COOL. Okay, cool.
Coen, you're cool.
Yes. That's a very funny gag, but I don't. The thing that made me laugh is you almost spelled UYOW.
Sorry.
You more
Why is
cool.
it even a W? It's a W. It's a double V. I guess a double V doesn't sound as good. It kind of sounds like a rapper now that I say it out loud.
Double
But
V.
it's
Hey! It's your boy Double V. Coen, I can do a double V freestyle rap. Opalia.
Please
Actually,
do that later.
Opalia is better at freestyle rap. Opalia, can you become double V rapper?
No.
Oh, shaking my head. We should probably get on topic.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's transition into the next question.
Smooth transition into the next bullet point. Why, Coda, why do people need to do full illustrations? Why is that needed? Why do they need to do that? We're bothering them with definitions, but why do they need to do it? Why are we even bringing this up?
Why? So you're asking, why should people, if
You're
at
not
all,
even asking me.
make illustrations? Why didn't you ask Opalia? Shaking my SMH.
Okay, I'll rephrase the entire thing, but instead I'll replace Coda with Opalia, okay?
As it always should have been.
Okay, cool. So Opalia, like, why do people need to make illustrations? What's the use?
Well, now I
wondering
feel
them-
excluded.
Well, that sucks, Coda, but you were talking the whole time, and I was always the last one, so I couldn't add much, so be quiet.
Listen to me, you little dweeb. If you repeat that again, I'm gonna cry.
Anyways, Opalia, why do you think people should, if they should, make illustrations? Like, what is the importance of making full illustrations? And for this, we're going with, like, the practical definition of a scene with a character and a background.
I just said the word dweeb.
I've
been watching way too many Ben 10 episodes.
Oh yeah, isn't it on Netflix now?
Nope.
Ha, sucks to not be on German Netflix, huh?
Stop flexing.
Opalia, why do you think, if people should, like, what do you think is the importance of making full-fledged illustrations, keeping in mind the practical definition of just a background with a story being told with, you know, whatever, with characters and lighting, just a full illustration?
I think with illustration, the importance about it is for the artist to tell something. If it's just them telling, hey, look, I have a cool story that I was writing, and those are my characters, uwu.
The uwu is necessary.
Yes.
The uwu is
Crucial.
vital to showing off your concept art.
It indeed is. But illustrations are also important to tell stories, or if it's something... like, I think illustrations are great for when you want to tell a story, but it's too short to tell it through a comic, for example.
Yeah, totally.
You can get a lot of information in like one image.
Isn't
Personally,
it like...
people say a picture says 1,000 words, but I personally think it can say more, like way more.
In so much more.
Mine would probably just say I'm gay over and over again.
You draw it in such a way to where people in their brain hear it over and over and over, like a song stuck in their head.
I'm gay.
Somehow.
I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay. I'm gay. See, I actually only said it once, and since my friends are always looking at my pictures, they sometimes hear me saying it, and I'm like, what? I never said it.
Sure, buddy. But Coda,
Oh.
why do you think illustration is that important? Or were you done, Opalia? Actually.
I'm done with
Coda, why do you think illustrations are important to do?
it. Do you think they are great?
Well, I personally think no, I don't. I do, but I personally think illustrations are. to do for every artist, like even concept artists. If people say they want to be a character designer, they should draw scenes with characters in them, with backgrounds and like fully rendered lighting and whatnot.
Yeah, I think
And
so too.
I think that's important for one main reason, and that's that it forces you to do things. So you can spend all day studying how hands hold soda cans, but you'll never get any practical use out of it if you don't have a drawing with a hand holding a soda can. So basically, what I'm saying is it kind of forces you to draw in different perspectives. It forces you to do lighting that you wouldn't have just thought to study. Like if you're going to draw somebody sitting under a tree, when was the last time you studied how to draw somebody sitting under a tree? You know? Like lighting wise. How to paint, I should say. But
That flows super well into a metaphor I have, but continue.
Go ahead. I want to hear this metaphor.
Okay, so I see full illustrations as like boss battles in a video game. They, like a good boss battle, will test everything that you've learned up to that point.
Exactly.
And sometimes even makes you try out new stuff. So an illustration will be like all the things you've learned before and more put into practice.
Imagine drawing someone under a tree.
Imagine doing that.
Oh. But, and yeah, not only does it force you to do things, but why study things if you're not going to use them, you know? And illustrations is kind of a way of using it. And
I think
go
that
ahead.
sorry. But I think that it's like, again, as you said, it's super useful for everyone to do. Because even if you're, like your example was for concept artists, it's good to do even. Because when you're a concept artist, you still need to do that stuff because eventually it's gonna get handed to an illustrator, and if you don't know how that illustrator operates, you're probably going to be a worse concept artist because of it.
Yeah, and you're just going to be a worse artist in general if you don't know how to illustrate.
Yeah, and it's gonna be super boring.
Also, overall, believe me, it's hard. It's easier to get into like an art block when you always draw the same things. Like if you only do concept art,
Or only do sketches.
Exactly.
Or only do full illustrations.
exactly. If you only do one thing, believe me, it will drain you. So always have a wide variety of things you do.
Her German blood is boiling.
I am Irish. How dare you?
I am going to have a very bad Dutch accent for the rest of this episode now. You are
Please
very
no.
welcome.
Has been raised in the Netherlands, speaks fluent Dutch, and still calls his own Dutch accent bad.
Nou, sorry hoor, Coda. Ik heb geen inderdaad een stink.
I don't know what you said, so I think it's a good accent.
Ik zei bijna niks, dat is het probleem.
I can't tell if you're speaking English or not.
Ja, ik ben inderdaad Engels aan het spreken. Je kan me gewoon niet goed verstaan. Jammer joh.
Man, it's so sad that only I can understand it, huh, Coen?
Huh. Yeah.
No, that he understood.
Hey Coda, speak your second language.
Oh, wait, you don't have any. Boom!
I speak fluent American.
Well, I still understand you, though.
Yeah, it's still English.
Oh, shit, baby.
Yeah, we still understand you, you know.
Trying to think of how many slang terms I can compile into one thing. So, how many?
You fool, we consume American culture on a daily basis.
You have been consumed, Coda.
What? Okay.
That sounded weird in my...
Yeah, don't take that out of context. That must have sounded better in your head.
Yeah, I almost said it sounded weird in my head, but then it wouldn't even make it
Hold up.
worse.
All right. Let's jump back on topic.
But yay.
Just hop back on Kumsa.
Illustrations, good to do. Do illustrations.
Okay, but guys, why are illustrations so difficult to do, actually? Because I think they're pretty hard to do.
You find them hard. Why do you think you find them hard?
Perspective.
Fair.
That's
Yeah.
my biggest problem. Like, because of perspective, I cannot do good lighting. Because of perspective, I cannot do good like illustrations because the perspective is always off, and people who know perspective know that it's off. Perspective is destroying everything.
It went from perception to perspective, everyone. We've done it.
Yes, no one's gonna get it, but
No
an old
one.
Opalia quote
Literally
from
no
ages
one
ago.
is gonna get it.
Ages
That's
old
right.
Opalia quote is perception destroys everything.
Ancient. Not even sure if Jesus was around.
Not even sure if Jesus was around. Boom, I done did it.
Wait, is cheese older than Jesus?
Yes.
Was there cheese before Jesus? Coda, I need a confirmation on this one.
I don't know, man. Read Genesis. So,
Hey
so
Coda,
Opalia-
I'm gonna deflect that one at you. Watch Neon Genesis Evangelion. You still haven't finished it.
Oh,
You actually need to
Opalia,
watch that. How
is
dare
there
you not?
any reason besides perspective you find illustrating very difficult? Because I feel like many people who don't do it a lot find it difficult, me included.
I think one of the hardest part is, first of all, thinking about a concept, like what do I even want to illustrate? Then thinking about a character, thinking about the background. It's a lot of planning to get one illustration done. Unless you're Opalia, because then it just is like, I want to do that. Okay, I finished. The thing is, it sounds like a joke, but Coda can confirm it's accurate.
Yeah, her last mushroom drawing was sketched out in a few seconds, basically. But
Which is still very scary to me. Haha.
I am Speed. Hello, Speedscape's real name.
anyways, so
But-
Coen, yeah,
Yes.
I'd have to agree with that. In fact, I have a hard time thinking of concepts to illustrate as, and I'll get into why I think that is in a minute. But for Coen, why do you think illustrations are hard, or do you think they're easy?
Like, for me, they're easy, which I'll explain in a bit. Most of the time, at least. Like, they're easy to start, not actually easy to do.
Flex.
I'll get into that in a bit. But basically, I think it harkens back. I'm gonna recycle my boss battle metaphor because it works really well. Where, like, I mean, it's a test of everything you've learned. So if you're struggling with one single thing or multiple things, or you're struggling with doing those things at once, it's gonna be difficult. And good boss battles are difficult because they test everything.
Mhm.
If a boss battle's easy, then what was the point? You got nothing from it. You know?
Right.
You got fun.
It also works. The easier the boss battle, usually, the less loot they drop.
Yep. The less you'll get out of it, everyone.
So loot your art.
Loot your art. Become a gamer. That's how you become good at art.
Actually, I would love to have loot your art as a merchandise article, not gonna lie.
Yes.
Oh, and like a T-shirt that says "Loot Your Art" on it.
With like a really nicely drawn treasure chest.
Oh yeah, like a mimic.
Oh,
Not a
and
mimic.
the chest is a mimic selling art books.
I thought you were gonna say it's a mimic selling out.
What would that be like? Like, yeah, you can take the treasure inside of me. Price.
I've been.
The price
You
is
can
your left
buy
hand.
my money for a price.
I'll give you money for a price. Isn't that just buying something? Yes.
No.
But
I'll
I
give
think
you this $2 coin for $2, but yeah.
But I
I'll
only
look
got
at
a
it for
$3
something real
coin.
What?
I'll give you these 2 quarters for $1. They're shiny
Wow.
metal coins for that old piece of paper.
By the way, Coda, where are your weekly illustrations at that you promised on your Instagram?
Oh, I put
Coda,
that. I
run.
put where they were. I'll explain that in a minute, but I don't want to date this.
I want
But
to date That wasn't
but-
a joke.
one day Coda is gonna say yes, and then you're stuck into it, Opalia.
I mean, I could have hit worse.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment. It's oh.
But I
mm.
think you could simplify the reason I'm the most used to it to just I do it more, but I think the big reason I'm so used to them is just because when I did Mermaid, I had done like a couple of semi-finished illustrations before or whatever, but I was like, you know what? I'll do like full scenes with some characters. They might be simplistic, but whatever. They'll be full scenes, and they'll tell some kind of story. Doesn't mean if it will be good, but it's gonna happen. And I just did that for every single day of May, and it was surprisingly easy, looking back.
Yeah.
And during it.
For me, and this is what I was saying I was going to get into. The reason why concept, like full illustrations with backgrounds and characters and lighting and rendering and, whatever, for me, comes back around to me not having done it much, and that was a trap I fell into for a long time of just being like, yeah, I want to be a character designer, so I'm just going to do characters and faces and whatever. But for me, it still feels this way a little bit, and I'm trying to combat this feeling. But it still feels like every illustration is a huge deal. Coen, please, I'm trying to talk.
Weekly full illustrations. Do it.
Coen, I'm trying to talk.
This is an intervention, Coda. This episode has been a ruse.
Yeah, it has been, Coda. We want you to do more illustrations.
But I was making a point I was happy with.
Well, no, we're making it a square.
We're making it a comma. Now finish your comma.
I was just gonna say, every illustration to me feels like a big deal because I don't do. Alright, I do more now, but I didn't. So every time I sit down, I'm like, this is gonna be a big thing. This isn't just gonna be a concept sketch. It's like, oh, I need it to have a good idea. I need it to be the best thing I've ever made. I need it to be, and for me, it just, every time I do it, it just feels like such a big deal, and I need to get more nonchalant about it, like, oh yeah, I can make an illustration.
I mean, you've already done it multiple times.
Exactly, Coda, and hi, I'm Opalia, I will help you.
I am Coen, I won't be awake when that happens.
That's so accurate.
But yeah, that's my biggest issue with it, is for me, every illustration feels like it's a bigger deal than it is. And I feel like, okay, I need to have a fully realized idea going into this. I need to have a bunch of concept sketches. I need to have characters thought out. I need to have a story. I can't make an illustration without a story, obviously. But no. For me, it's, I just need to start being more casual about it.
Yeah. Like Coda, let me hear you out on this one. You did remember when you were doing like daily drawings and such?
Yes.
Those were basically full illustrations.
They were full illustrations.
Just not that polished. And were they difficult to do?
No. Well, they started taking up a bunch of time, but they weren't.
They weren't super difficult to do, right?
No.
Do you think polishing something up is difficult? Like
depends.
Super hard, brain cracking.
Well, it depends. No, it's not.
Well, you just need to combine the two, and you have something that's moderately difficult, depending on how difficult you make it for yourself. And blammo, you've got an illustration. Like, illustrations can be easy. They'll always be a big deal, but they can be easy. If it's something like, for Coda, it's an illustration of for a book project, one of the manuscripts for the illustration is like a close-up of someone's face, and the background is completely blurred and not visible at all. Coda will just scoot into his drawing chair and pop that illustration out in like an hour, and it'll be fantastic. And then they'll be like, yo, what? So that's nice. Hold
your
up.
bell ringed.
Yeah, I'm gonna check what that is. Be right back.
But, I mean, that's the reason why I want to do that Ghibli challenge with you. For those who are wondering what I'm talking about, actually, with the Ghibli challenge, it pretty much means that we are trying to make an illustration that has a similar feel to the concept/movie art in Studio Ghibli movies. And what that is pretty much just Studio... Jesus, that was such a loud motorcycle. What that is just Studio Ghibli is a movie studio from Japan. They make very good movies, for those who don't know them.
Oh, some of the most gorgeous films, I think, in existence.
Definitely. And I have watched when Mani was there with my friend, and I got so mesmerized by a shot of just tomatoes on, like, the tomato plant, that it mesmerized me, and I just want to have that feeling with my art, and that's something I want to do with Coda. And this is me just calling y'all artists out. If you ever want to do like a beautiful background illustration, maybe try to do the Ghibli challenge. Just do hashtag Ghibli challenge and post it on Instagram or something, and we will watch it.
I didn't know that you were turning this into a thing.
Boom, I done did it.
You done did it. It's a thing now. This was just going to be a little silly goof that we did together, but now it's like you've made a hashtag. I feel like Ghibli challenge already is a hashtag, though. It has to be.
Probably, but you know, there's another place where you can post your drawings. Because, guys, drum solo Coda. That was very needed in the drum solo.
It was.
So, we guys have opened a Discord server for you to come in, post your art, share your art, you know the deal, and to talk with us on occasions.
Yeah, we're going to be popping in and out of the Discord server. Coen, we're plugging the Discord server.
Oh, cool. Fun fact, I'll probably be on there 24/7 because I have an obsession.
You can always like ask in general chat, hey guys, is anybody able to VC? And maybe there's a chance that we are even on there. If you're fans or you just know us by knowing us, you know.
Opalia, you're saying there's like a bunch of fans who are just eager to talk to us. They're just all our family and friends. We already know them.
Well, no. There's some people that we don't know yet.
Anyways, but that is the thing. We do have a Discord channel now. There's going to be a link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. Probably on our Instagram as well somewhere.
In our bio.
We should plug it on the next post.
Yes.
Guys, sorry I had to be right back. They were pretty private matters. I won't get into them here, but I assure you they were pretty important.
It's fine, Coen.
No worries. I understand. I understood without you
even
saying
private matter
that.
is freaking crisps.
Yeah, very important.
Jeez, now I feel like it was all a ruse just for you to go get chips.
Yeah, well, no, I got called like, hey, you want some chips? I'm in the middle of a recording. And she's like, yeah, but you're having this conversation with me right now, so you have time to eat chips. And I'm like, no, I heard the bell, so I came to check what's happening. So I have.
I hate to say it, but I think your mom done got you. I think she messed up.
Yeah.
It was my sister.
Your sister done messed up, huh? Not done messed you up, I meant.
You got owned.
By your own
And it's
sister.
proof. You're like you come back with a look of defeat on your face and a bowl of chips in your hand.
I mean, that's not a loss.
Yeah, even if you lose, you win. So.
And that's the same with illustration, because even if you don't like the illustration, you still learn something from it.
Dang!
Boom, segue.
Yeah! Wow!
Look
Look at that metaphor. Bowl of chips, everyone. Bowl of chips.
Illustration is chips.
Illustration is
Delicious.
chips.
So even if you don't like the chips, you still got chips, I guess. But
So yeah.
Even if you're allergic to chips, you still got chips.
how can you
I
be
mean, come
allergic
on.
to them? There are so many different ways. Like even potato crisps don't have to be out of potatoes. They can be kale crisps. They can be beetroot crisps.
But
Crisps.
Pineapple crisps.
Ew.
here's how I like to look at it personally. Going off that analogy, here's the analogy I like. So I did a recent challenge where I had to make an illustration every day for a week. And it was basically just to desensitize me to this feeling of, wow, it's an illustration, it's huge, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. It was just to make me feel more casual about it. And half of them I really didn't actually like all that much. But I still learned from them, and here's how I like to look at it. if you go to the track and you jog and you can't, let's say you're out of shape and you can't really make it that far, well, even if you're ashamed of not being able to make it as far as you wanted to,
You still
you
did
still
it.
got to work out.
Yeah.
You still got fitter, and you'll be able to make it farther next time.
Thanks, Coda. Now I don't feel so bad about myself eating chips.
Thanks,
Yay.
Coda. Now I don't feel so bad about me being lazy.
That's not what I was saying.
I know.
But that's the analogy I like anyway. That's how I brought myself to post some of the stuff that I really didn't like.
I mean, people always assume that posting on the internet means only posting the best thing you can draw. But sometimes posting stuff that you're bad at is actually a good idea. You know, you can show
Yes.
mistakes.
Opalia is
me, you're
spitting
only-
facts here.
And if you're me, you're only doing mistakes, you know?
I am very good at interrupting.
You're so good that you didn't even hear that I was doing a bad joke.
Yes.
But yeah, exactly. And I think that's a whole nother topic, is posting on social media, even if it looks bad. But
Yeah.
I don't know, how long have we been going for? Because I think it could be time to move into the last topic.
Yeah,
The
sounds good.
last one.
The last one. Guys, how
Oh,
do
wait.
you guys... Oh.
Wait. I
Oh.
just looked at the bullet points, and we only talked about why they're so difficult to do. But I included a second one, with ambition, and I'd like to touch on that real quick. Almost
Go ahead.
every successful artist I've seen was super ambitious. They tried stuff they'd never tried before. They failed horrendously, and when they came back, they kicked ass at it, basically.
That's literally
So
how I go.
you might ease into it with a couple of comfort food illustrations, I guess. But once you're semi comfortable with illustrations, don't just illustrate the same things in slightly different ways over and over again. Try to do something in a more interesting perspective. Heck, take an old illustration you made and try to make it better in a more interesting perspective, improve the whole rendering style, maybe completely change the subject matter or composition or color palette. Just
Actually-
do something ambitious with it.
Actually, guys, you know what would be a great idea? For example, you have learned how to draw rock textures, right? But there's not only one type of rock, a way you can use rocks. If you have learned how to, for example, shade rocks or texturize rocks, maybe do one stone wall. Then next time you draw just bricks. Next time you draw a canyon. If you have learned one thing and you want to learn it further, always switch it up. Don't only do one type of rock, one type of metal, one type of grass, might I add. That was so aggressive.
Yeah.
Grass!
I feel called out, but yeah,
am calling you out,
that's a
Coen.
lovely aspect of illustration, because again, you get to put stuff into practice you've been learning. So, for example, you recently learned some stuff about trees, foxes, and intergalactic space destroyers. You might draw a nice forest scene with some foxes with an intergalactic space destroyer in the
Just in the front,
The
you see
thing-
the foxes just vibing in their woodlet, and in the background there's just a city getting destroyed.
Yeah. So I think with illustration, what Coen is saying is basically intentionally do what you are bad.
Dude.
Intentionally bite off more than you can chew.
Exactly.
Not always. Good way to balance this is to always place to be when learning is 50% in your comfort zone. If you're too far in, you won't learn enough. If you're too far out, you either won't process it well, or you'll just stop because you didn't like it.
Right. So I think a good example of this
So
is
always
once
try to
again
have
my
one hand in,
weekly.
one hand out of your comfort zone.
Oh, there
Yes.
was one noise that just hurt my ear.
Me too. I think a good example of this was once again the weekly illustrations I did. I mean daily illustrations every day. So I every one was literally me intentionally doing something I was bad at. So first I did a punch, which is a very dynamic, interactive pose. I'm bad at drawing people interacting in some way like that. Then I drew fire. Then I drew a forest. Then I drew slime, and I drew a very busy laboratory, which were two things I'm bad at, like more industrial type stuff.
Mhm.
So it was every day I would do something intentional that I'm bad at, but in all of them there were people, the thing I love drawing. So I got a little bit of my comfort zone in there.
Exactly. So learning something new is also learning to stay in your comfort zone.
Not true, but
Like,
fair.
learning something new means that you're staying in your comfort zone, but also going out of it while doing that. For example, if you have only drawn girls for your whole life, then maybe try drawing feminine men first, or like androgynous characters, and then slowly go into the male direction.
Yeah, fair.
Or just do
Hello,
the
I'm back.
Opalia.
My iPad can't handle it anymore.
It's fine. Or you just do the Opalia and you just draw guys so many times that you one day just wanna cry, and then all of a sudden it works.
Yay!
This is actually not a hoax. That's literally how I learned how to draw guys.
I
Yeah.
just stared at naked ladies.
Coen, you poor soul. I can't believe you had to go through that.
That's actually very nice.
Yeah, it sure was torture. Yep.
Oof.
Definitely bad. Women are so ugly, my god. Don't like looking at them.
Jeez.
Thank you.
I I hate studying the form. I have to look at naked girls.
Artist life is so hard, you guys.
Okay, but before we go into that full stereotype, I guess you could call it. I actually
That was
think
a joke, by the way. Women
Yes,
are
I know.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm still hurt. But overall, I think ambition is great to have in art, but always try to get into your comfort zone every now and then. Just don't get too comfortable in there. It's like sleeping in
50-50.
Yeah, sleeping in a soft blanket, but sometimes you have to stay up. And just wear soft clothes.
Fair.
Like I said earlier, 50% in, 50% out.
Exactly.
Yes.
If
So
you're scared of having your foot out of the blanket, maybe just put half of your foot out of the blanket.
yay. Exactly.
And one
That
day you
being
don't need a
said-
blanket.
That being said, what are your guys' processes for making full-fledged illustrations? Let's start with Opalia, go to Coen, then me.
Well, thank you. My process mostly is like me thinking, man, this drawing here could be, like, this idea of drawing could be very nice. Gotta draw that. Then I'm doing one or two thumbnail sketches. Most of the time my first one is the one that I like the most. Then I pretty much make the... By the way, thumbnail sketches are like very, very tiny sketches that just get like the most information with the least amount of details.
Uh-huh.
Then I resize my thumbnail sketch to fit in the whole canvas and do a very detailed sketch on top. And with that, I am just refining all the details, putting in some more, doing line art if I feel like it. Then I do first the background, then the foreground, then the character.
Uh-huh.
That's how I go by it.
Very nice. That's a good
Interesting.
process. It's very similar to mine, and I'll get into the differences in a moment. But Coen, how do you go about making illustrations?
Maybe it's smart, because it's similar to Opalia's, maybe it's smart if you go first. Because mine is pretty chaotic. Like organized, but no.
Organized
Well,
chaos.
okay. Yeah, I'll go. So I think how I go about it normally, and what the difference is for me, it varies depending on what I want the end result to be. So if it's a painting or if it has line art or not is what changes it.
Yeah.
So for me, I always start off with a bunch of thumbnails. I literally do this. I draw a bunch of different sized boxes in the same canvas, or I guess squares, not boxes, and some rectangles, of course. And then I'll just give each one of them a horizon line at very different points. So one way low, one way high, one in the middle, one somewhere kind of lower. And then I'll just I'll take in a bunch of reference images for what I want to draw. So I mentioned this in the last scene, in the last episode, sorry, but the nightclub drawing that's in the works is I literally took in about like 10 different images of nightclub settings that I really enjoyed and mixed them, and then I just literally rip things from those and I just idea barf into these squares. I just paint, I draw, just whatever I feel like I need to do to get things down into these squares and just put down all my concepts. And then I settle on a few I like and I mix them into one finished thumbnail. And here's where it varies. If I'm going to paint it, what I do is I splash the thumbnail with colors. I make it bigger like Opalia, and then I paint from there. But if I'm going to do line art, I splash it with values. Then I make it bigger, and I sketch and line art, and then I color it. But that's basically how I go about it. So to summarize it in basic steps, get idea, get references, lots of tiny sketches, then big sketch.
Yes. I love the term idea barfing.
That's how I like to look at it. It's just like throwing up all the ideas. Because if you just go with one sketch in my mind, there's so much more barf left inside of you. So you need to get all of it out. Or you're going to have a bellyache.
Well, I'm good at barfing, so I only need one time.
Fair.
Probably just projectile vomits a hole into the wall.
Oh, don't say that, Coen.
Oh, the worst part is that there are some people that actually like to have that in their mind.
Oh, don't say that.
Don't. I wanted to say, like, the vomit is acidic too, so it just melts the entire building down. Now that you mention that, I don't want to say anything anymore.
I think I'm just gonna mute myself.
Sounds good.
No, but Coen, don't actually. Don't. That no one's gonna get the gag, Coen. Don't, Coen. Unmute yourself.
No.
Son, unmute yourself or I will not give you any more crisps.
Coen, it's your turn to talk about your illustration process.
Okay, Mom.
Yeah. Also, Coda is your dad, not your mom. Have some respect.
What? I was referring to you.
No, you weren't.
Coen,
Yes,
what is your illustration process?
Well, listening
your
to
father
you guys
commands it.
Shut up, Dad.
Coen, that's very rude. I'm in your room.
I'm already in my room.
Well, then talk.
I was gonna, then Dad interrupted me.
Well, Coda,
are you back talking? Is this sass I hear? I don't interrupt you. I talk when I want to talk. I pay the bills.
Honey, please, he's just a child.
No, I need to instill these lessons in him now if he's gonna act like that to his father.
But listen to me. He's a child.
Are you guys gonna get a divorce over my stupidity?
No. We already got it.
Wow.
No, we might put you up for adoption before then.
Cool.
Yeah, sounds great.
That would be option 1. Option 2 is divorce.
Wait, you want to divorce me?
No, only if it comes to that.
Don't believe me.
No, this got said. Why did this get said?
You don't think it's sad that you guys would put me up for adoption before you consider
That's just
fixing your
funny.
relationship?
I don't care who you are. It's funny.
That's actually
That
not
doesn't
funny.
directly affect me, so it's funny.
Shut up, son.
You have no
Shut up.
say in this.
Shut up, son, you're actually right, and I look like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Parents be
I
like,
love it whenever I present my mom with a totally rational argument, and she's like, but I changed your diapers. I'm like, oh.
Come on, mother.
My mother always goes to the argument of I bared you for 9 months. And it's great.
My mom doesn't even need that argument. You should see her argumenting. That's scary. Even Coda couldn't say anything against her.
I'd like to try.
Really.
One day.
Believe me.
Okay, Coda, you're gonna have to do it, but in German.
Exactly. I will prepare you for that day.
Meine Kamerad, ich gehe nu Deutsch leren, ja. That's not how German works. Close
It was
enough.
actually pretty good.
What did he say?
I will not say it.
Yes, my comrade, I am going to teach you German.
Dang it, he did it.
All
Son,
right, so
why are you not
Coen,
listening to me,
Coen.
son?
Coen.
Yes, Dad.
We're leaving the bit behind. No more father stuff.
You guys are the ones that started it.
Oh, now you're
Well-
back talking again?
See what I mean?
Okay, but guys, back on topic. Jesus, you're putting this out too
Coen,
long.
what is your illustration process, my son? My offspring.
Let's stop with the bit. Continue with the bit. Anyhow, listening to you guys, this makes me feel very dumb because I miss a lot of the steps. I never do thumbnails because I'm not that smart. I don't know, I tried it once and it didn't work that well for me, but I haven't tried it in a while, so I should do it again.
Mhm.
But most of the time, depends on the illustration because I change it around a lot, but most of the time I just start sketching with just a hard round brush or something similar to it, nothing fancy. And I just make a sketch of the entire scene. I might do it in multiple layers if it's a particularly complex one, so I might do one for the far background, one for the closer one, and one for some of the characters, I don't know. So I can turn those on and off and I can switch them around easily when I want to. And after that I find like a neutral / dominant tone for the entire scene, and I just fill the entire background with that, and from there I start doing base tones, which is just by the way, line work doesn't exist in my book. Line work is excruciating and painful, and I will never do it again in my entire life. So I have a sketch at that point, and I have a solid color background. I might add in a gradient for extra spice if it's needed, or if it's like a sky or something. But from there, I'll add in base tones to the characters and environment and things in it.
I felt so
And-
called out when you were like, I don't use gradients because I'm just using gradient in my shadow.
What?
Shading.
What?
Like, you never
Okay.
use gradients.
But yeah, I add the base tones, which is just most of the time regular, just base color, lights, shadow, but it usually gets a whole lot more convoluted than that. And after that, I colorize. Meanwhile, I always have a separate layer filled to pure white set to color mode, which I turn on and off again to check my values. And then I colorize my line work to the colors or colors that it's most appropriate for the scene. And then I make one or a gajillion overpaint layers on top of everything beneath it, except for the value check layer. That's always got to be above, because otherwise it won't be accurate, because some will be in color and some will be
Sorry for that side tangent,
grayscale.
Coen,
Yes.
but you should do value checks more often because you value a lot to us.
It would be we value you,
Shh. I'm not.
our son. No, I'm not. I shouldn't
just-
have got
I'm
should
still
stop with that
processing the
sketch.
fact that Opalia called me valuable. I feel like a treasure chest now.
You're welcome.
Coen, you are expensive.
I'm a mimic.
I mean, children are expensive.
Thanks, Mom.
I would know.
Well,
No,
you are
I'm not gonna,
expensive.
I'm not
because
gonna
I was-
make that joke.
Coda,
You're
are you?
Don't. I said I wasn't gonna make that joke, Coen.
Well, I did.
Coen, you are expensive because you mean a lot to me. Boom. Okay, we can continue.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just head out. No.
No!
So,
Son!
But no,
wait,
I just
yeah, go ahead, continue.
I just overpainted the heck, and I might do multiple iterations.
Mhm.
When I do the base tones, I might not like them, and then I might mess around with them. But then I might just restart the entire thing, and try a whole different color scheme. And that applies to everything. That could be the sketch, that could be the color palette, that could be some of the rendering. I'll just erase something on the overpaint layer, and it could be the entire damn illustration. I made an illustration recently. This is gonna date the video, but I made an illustration recently, and I thought it was kind of bland and boring. So I'm making a new version, a more interesting perspective.
Yeah, and on
better.
the note of that illustration, I just wanted to say here, and I hate to call you out like this, Coen, but
Oh, you're calling me out.
I'm calling you out. So
Wow.
Coen was working on that illustration, and he was doing his normal process where he draws a kind of one big element at a time, and then he drew this really good, really detailed old man head and this super fun perspective that took and then he sent it to me and he was like, I'm really happy with this. And then he goes, now where do I put the guy? Where do I put there was supposed to be a guy on the old man head, and he goes, wait, I didn't realize. Now where do I put this guy?
Yeah.
Why I do thumbnail sketches is I want to know where to put the guy immediately so I don't run into that issue.
Exactly. I got composition exercises actually. Try to first of all learn the golden ratio, because I think that's one of the best compositions. I mean, that's why it is the golden ratio. Then try to, in any way, shape, or form, quick tip on composition. Try to lead the eye of the viewer into your drawing. If it's only a character on the drawing, I don't know, give them a prop that points towards their face. The face points down to their foot that points up to the weapon again, or the prop. And that's how you keep the eye inside of the drawing.
Yeah. Like you can
Very
really
nice.
you can improvise with a whole bunch of different things. Like you don't need to be stuck to the rule of thirds or the golden ratios. Those things are really handy to know, and they're good tools, and they've been shown to work stupidly well. But really, the most captivating compositions are gonna be the ones that just work for their purposes,
Yeah.
which is not always a set rule.
I think Psychra talked about that. He was like, if you gave, I think he was talking about intuitive learning versus analytical learning, and he was like, if you give,
I'm assuming you're referring to the iterative drawing video.
yeah. So he was talking about that, and he goes, if you give an analyst or someone who's studied traditional art, studied like the traditional way of making art, and you said draw a house in a nice composition, they might draw the rule of thirds. They might put the house in the third and then lower the horizon line or raise it to also fit in one of the thirds, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you gave someone who learned intuitively and it's just like, yeah, this looks cool, this looks fun, they're going to come up with something way more interesting. Perhaps it's at a Dutch angle, or the house is tilted, or the house is really close or far from the camera, so on and so forth.
Hey Coda, what if I told you there's a third kind of person who's better than both of them combined?
What's that?
It's the person who does both. It's the person that's...
Wait, that's exactly as good as both of them combined.
Yeah!
But you just said it was... You know what's better than both of them combined? Both of them combined.
Yeah. Like, even then, like, when you know the whole perspective or composition, what am I saying? When you know the whole composition debacle and rules behind it all, but you still manage to iterate on it, honestly, you can be 1,000 times better than either one of them. Because you're
Yeah.
gonna come up with something insane. My god.
Know the rules and then break them.
Break their kneecaps.
Break their just shatter them. Shatter their kneecaps and then laugh.
Big disclaimer, Art Friends does not prone destroying kneecaps. If you
Except
did
for
it,
if it's with rules.
please remember that we are not responsible if you ever do that.
I'm gonna break my own kneecaps for your back.
Well, I guess it's just you and me, Coda.
Yep. Anyways, I think we got some good information out of this. I'm about to
Yeah,
say.
we definitely goofed off a
Coen.
lot, though.
Yes, Cohen has muted himself and gone to presumably break his own kneecaps. I hope he's all right, but he's not here to say any closing thoughts. I guess we'll just wait.
Well, that was low-key painful, but I don't regret doing it.
I wouldn't either. I might have to hop on this trend. But Cohen,
Not every
while
trend
you were
is
gone,
should be
I didn't know
okay.
if you could hear us over your screams, so I figured I'd tell you what I was saying. We're doing a quick outro. We're just unless you had anything else you wanted to say, I think we could wrap up this episode.
Yeah, I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Okay, imagine me just looking to the screen, to the mic or whatever, but now I'm looking at the camera, straight into your beautiful eyes, viewer. Make an illustration right now. Start thinking of an idea.
Oh, that's creepy.
Do it.
Coen, you don't know it, but I was once talking to Coda and I went like, Coda, imagine me staring into your eyes. Saying this and that.
We're not
You
going to
just
give
did the same
context.
joke. I will not.
Was that your romantic date night, Mom?
No, it was me being a mom, believe me.
Being
It
a mom
was.
to your husband?
Yep.
No, that's we can't get into this, please.
Well, it's too late, Coda.
It
You're
was
not
it was
taken.
just Opalia giving me some life advice. She was like, "Coda, don't do it. Look into my eyes. Don't do it."
I was
Don't
more
break your
like,
kneecaps.
no, I was like, Coda, don't overdo yourself, please. And I look into my eyes. If you don't take rests, I will whoop your ass. That's...
Which Opalia most likely said at like 5 a.m.
Yes.
I said it at 6 a.m.
I wake up at 6 a.m., Opalia.
That was actually the same day where I stayed awake until like 11:30.
Oh.
Make
But
advice,
anyways.
don't listen to them.
Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna DM you as soon as I wake up, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, are you gonna sleep soon?"
And I'm like, nah, I'm thinking about staying awake, honestly.
Apollya, I'm gonna call you out. Your teacher messaged the classroom and was like, "Hello, everybody," and then you messaged back, and you had been awake at that point. We were in call, and you were just hadn't gotten to sleep yet. And she was like, "Oh, you're up already."
Haha.
Already.
But
Oh, man.
anyways, yeah, everyone go make an illustration now. I feel like many people have the same issue I do, where making a full illustration is this huge deal, where you need to put a ton of effort and a ton of thought into it. But really, just do it. Just everyone listening, go make a full illustration right now.
As I said earlier, please try out the Ghibli challenge. I want to see your beautiful artworks, and you can post it on our Discord server. We will have a link on our Instagram in the next post that Coen will post in the next few hours.
And in the description of this YouTube video, this is going to be
Exactly.
uploaded on YouTube, on the Art Friends YouTube channel.
Exactly. And I think that's a wrap, right, guys?
Yeah, I want to say that I was super confused for a second because I was like, okay, so I'll make an Instagram post in a few hours. Then I was like, no, wait, we're recording this beforehand, so I have to do it in a few hours as soon as this episode goes live, which is not in a few hours because this is going out on Friday, which is not now.
How to melt Coen's brain 101.
Oh.
Implying it was solid before.
Yeah.
Goofy.
It isn't liquid, it's just gaseous. It's gonna be plasma soon.
Oh, I love that word. I don't know why.
Gaseous?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Just like you, Coen.
You're supposed to say that to Coda.
No, I already say that, and I can say that to my son. Family love is still valid.
Guys, let's...
I'm sorry. By the
Oh.
way, this is all a hoax. I'm not in a relationship with Coda. That's not legal.
Wait.
Yet.
That... yeah.
No, it's not legal because I'm atheist and he's Christian.
Yes. If that happened, the sky would open and God would come down from the heavens and he'd give us a ticket.
There is no God.
You see the
Wow.
dilemma?
Oh, you know that's a joke. I only believe in no god. He's a good god.
Yes. Anyways, let's. Opalia, you did the intro. Hit us with an outro.
Sure. I can also hit up with you. Okay, I'm stopping now.
Hit specifically our kneecaps.
Coen, yours have taken enough today.
Okay, guys, thank you for watching this episode of... I'm too fast. And this is Fast Coda and Fast Coen. Okay. Okay, guys. I'm not able to. I just said
Want me to do
gays.
it, Opalia?
Okay,
I wanted to do a bit, but now I honestly forgot what I was gonna do.
because I'm too funny. Ha, joke's on you. Okay, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Art Friends. My name is Opalia, and this has been Art Friends with Coda and Coen. If you'd like this episode, please leave us a like. If you loved it, please subscribe this channel or us on Spotify, depending on where you're listening. And if you want to see some posts of us, posting some art, maybe, and stuff like that, go on our Instagram. That you can also get updates on when the episodes will be uploaded there. And thank you for watching. Stay hydrated, especially since the summer right now is literally cooking an egg out of me. And
You're cooking, I'm melting.
eat your seatbelts and go swimming in a pool. Because...
Can I add one more thing?
Yes.
Share this video with your art friends and join our Discord server to make some new art friends.
Booyah!
Hey!
Alright, guys.
Hey,
All
he
right,
said hey.
everybody.
He said it. We got
Oh,
it.
I said A! I said A! No!
I'd like some milk on my pineapple.
On my
Ew.
pineapple.
You
Just
want
milk
milk?
it
on
on?
pineapple. Yeah,
Or do-
warm milk on pineapple. Don't
Wait.
forget the pizza toppings.
I'd
Does it-
rather
it
put
doesn't-
pineapple juice in my milk.
That's better, but I
What?
can't imagine. Well, it's better than putting milk on pineapple because the
Okay,
milk
Coda-
falls off
Coda-
the pineapple.
Coda-
You know
Coda-
that pineapple juice and milk are curdling, so you just have like little pieces of milk inside there. Don't
Coda-
try that out
Coda-
at home.
Coda,
Okay,
I'll
that's
ex-
not actually that could be good
No,
depending on who you are.
Coda, I'm gonna explain the recipe and I'm gonna win you over. Hear me out on this one. So it's like a pineapple sliced in half. Yeah,
Okay.
just a fresh pineapple. Then you pour some warm milk over it. Then some tomato sauce. Then some salami, some pieces of salami. Then put some cheese on top of that, some peppers, some tomatoes, and another layer of cheese because why not? Then you deep fry
cheese,
that.
so tomato sauce, cheese, tomatoes, cheese.
Yeah, then don't forget the milk underneath. Then you deep fry it. Yeah. After you've deep fried it, you just add a nice we want to be efficient, so we're gonna include the dessert in it right away. You add on top of it a layer of pancakes.
Start including dessert in meals. I need this.
No, you put on top of the deep fried pineapple with warm milk and pizza toppings. You put a layer of pancakes, and on top of that some ice cream. And on top of the ice cream you put some waffles. And at that point you should have like a giant tower. Like it should be fully stacked against the ceiling. And if it isn't, just repeat the steps until it is. And then eat it.
Okay, what if I'm at an outdoors barbecue? Do I have to stack it until it does hit the moon?
Yeah, until it hits like a plane or a bird or the moon. Whatever
You know,
works.
guys, I don't want to
Oh,
destroy
perfect.
the very disgusting recipe, but we're right now recording an episode, so
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
we're-
We're recording it. Oh, okay.
We're talking about the very important topics. This will help your art journey. Trust me.
Okay, so yeah, we should. This will help your art journey. This is what we call art food.
Art food. If you
Don't
eat
eat
this,
that.
you will automatically know perspective.
you cursed person! I cannot eat pineapples. I cannot learn perspective. Then,
Well, that makes sense.
yeah,
Ooh, was that a roast?
No,
kind
not
of.
an intentional one. It's just
Roasted
I made-
pineapples. All right.
Wow, we